Good timing. That was really good.
Mhm.
Oh my Lord. All right. Hello, everyone. We are back again for another episode of Paranormal. We are your hosts. I am Rachel, and we have
Solo this evening. We're
me
both
too.
solo. The boys needed a night off.
Yeah, Harold's just chilling. And then I realized today, like, he's named Harold. There is actually a haunted Harold the doll out there too, like a real one. Well, he's real too, but I mean, like a real, like famous one.
Really?
Yeah.
From England?
No,
I only say that because Harold is such an English name.
From the States. His backstory is kind of like he was owned by someone, and it was for his little boy, but his little boy died at like a year old. And then this doll's been haunted ever since, and people, who get him are like, they get sick and just stuff happens. Yeah. And then they tried to sell him on eBay, like back in the day, and it was this whole big thing. Like, it was like a no takey backseat type thing. Like, once you bought the doll, it was yours. Like, you can't give him back. Yeah.
We will pay you to take it.
Yeah, literally. It's like, I was listening to it today, and they're like, oh yeah, you have to read, like the whole like thing was like, you have to read like the whole ad. You have to ask questions, all the questions before you purchase, because once you purchase, that's it. You're done.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's Harold, not my doll. But yeah.
Whatever.
But we'll talk about that at a different time. Like, I know we have a haunted objects episode coming up, but I'm wondering if we should just do one just strictly on dolls.
I think we need to. There's enough of them.
I know. And I have enough of them too. I could just have a whole party behind me while I talk about it.
Well, I've got Chester and Spectre, and then my sister gave me Clowny. He's not really haunted. He's just a creepy life-size clown.
Do you actually bring him home?
Yes. I wish I could find mine, and it's starting to worry me. Where did I put this clown? Because I wouldn't have given it away.
Well,
I wouldn't have thrown him away.
He took off.
He might have done. Oh, I don't think I left. There might be a box. Maybe there's a box still at my old house. Maybe there's a box at my other house. Whatever. We'll find him one day.
It'll be a surprise.
But for now, we have my sister's Clowny.
Oh my God.
Good Lord.
I saw a picture of it, everyone. Terrifying. I don't know how you...
I'll bring him out on a show so you can see what I grew up with.
Haunted objects. There you go.
Mine was even scarier because I had like drawn on his face. And he has a face, but I mean, I had drawn all over it. Anyways.
You made it better.
I'll try and find it for that day.
Well, let's see. What's new for us? We just did an investigation in Wallaceburg at the Wallaceburg and District Museum. If you haven't been, I highly suggest you go. It is a phenomenal museum. Even if you don't even have any paranormal experiences, they have done such an amazing job at archiving and displaying things, and you wouldn't even know sometimes that you're actually in like just a regular, well, not a regular building, but like an industrial building, because they've made these rooms and these exhibits look like you're actually in the room.
Mm-hmm. It reminds me of, if you've ever been to Vegas and you go into New York, in their lower level, reminds me of the street market kind of look, because that's exactly what it is. Mm-hmm. It's like you're in this whole other place. You forget that you're just inside a building.
Because I forgot it was still light outside. Like, there's no windows. I forgot it was light outside.
Well, I sadly missed it. I joined live, and it was really good. And it was quite active. So if you have not seen that, go to the Facebook page
or YouTube
of the Paranormal Seekers or YouTube. Yeah. And then you can see the downloaded live because it was a really good one. Once
It was,
Phil realized how to not move the camera all over the place, because I was like, I was like, oh my gosh.
I was like, here you go, you operate it while I do this. Because I was
But
like,
it's
does
good.
anyone
Like,
here other than me kind of know how to do SDs? Like, I know Chantel would know, but would she know? Has she done one before?
she's done an SDs.
Has she?
Yeah, she did the Beck house,
Yeah.
remember? And
Okay.
didn't she do one when we were at Wildwood?
She's done a couple of them.
I have no idea. I've
Yeah.
never seen it. I've never seen it.
But I think that was a good one.
Yeah, because I know Phil never has never done it, and Paula never has. So,
No, I think Phil has done one.
well, I don't know. I
Well,
wasn't
either
there.
way, you did it and it was great.
Yeah, fun. Always fun.
And
Always.
it's good for them as well because they had to start coming up with stuff and thinking, because there was a bit of a lull at one point. And so when that happens, you got to start, thinking
Mhm.
like, what questions can I ask? What can I do now? Should we be moving? Should we be doing this? So they handled it really well. They did a really good job of kind of running the show there. They did a really good job.
Good, because
So,
I had no idea what was going on.
Because it's hard sometimes when nothing's happening and nothing's coming through in Estes, and you're just like, what the fuck? But
Yeah.
like Chantel was looking through the notes and Phil's asking questions, and then Ryan and I are like saying stuff over the chat, so they're following along. So it flowed really well.
Good. I should probably watch it.
Yeah,
and maybe see if I see
it was a good live.
that stupid arm from that mannequin move that you were like, oh my God.
I've slowed it down and watched it, and it does look like his arm moves really slowly, but I can't rule out that it's just the way the camera slightly moves that it looks like it. But along the running board on the bottom of the car, there's a light that moves when you're not moving. Again, though, it's right around the same time his hand moves. Again, I just wonder if you're just shifting slightly, just enough for whatever light was coming in. I'll send it to you so you can look and see.
Okay.
It's not enough for me to go, it's not the camera. Like, there's too many questions still, so I can't say.
Okay.
But it was, when I watched on the live, it looked like his arm fully was like, burp, burp. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, how did you not see that? And then you're like, what was that? But it was that noise. So I thought you'd seen it and was like, holy fuck, get out of there.
Listen,
But no.
if any of those mannequins had moved, I probably would have. That would have terrified me the most. There was one that was sitting in a barber chair. I think I showed it to you. I know it was on the live because I was like, look at this guy's way too happy, right? And yeah, I was sitting, there was a chair there, and I sat in that chair for a while by myself, and I was like, man, if this thing turns its head towards me and looks at me with that stupid smile on its face, I'm fucking gone.
But no way.
Literally every corner that you took in that place, there was a mannequin of some kind. And you know what? They were very well done mannequins. They weren't like crappy mannequins, but they were very well done and well placed, we'll say.
That one you had sent, I don't think it was the live. I think you had sent a video. And I thought it was Phil.
Oh yeah.
Because it looked like him at first. And I'm
you
like,
know what? I
why
watched
is he in
it and I was like,
tuxedo?
I watched it and I was like, oh shit, that does look like Phil.
It does. And then all of a sudden he was right there. And I was like, what? Oh my God. It was too funny. I don't know, maybe that he was wearing a costume from there, but I was just like, he's a bit dressed up. Like, he's taking the shit really seriously.
Man, that would have been like way too dressed up.
Oh my God.
Oh my, that's so funny.
Did you end up going lights out completely dark?
We went as dark as we could. There are lots of display lights and stuff that always stay on. So we went as dark as we possibly could.
Though I suppose you would need some sort of light, or you're going to walk into some display shit and a mannequin,
You'd be
and that
dancing
would
with the
just,
mannequin in the dark. Like some of them are kind
ooh,
of
no.
right there.
Yeah.
That one. There was it just that one? Might have been just that one. Where you would have just walked right into him.
Well, we'll have to discuss that at a later day because right
No.
now we're talking about another really cool place.
Darn straight. The King. Whoa, frig. Heritage and Cultural Center. I almost said King Cultural and Heritage Center.
Oh,
It used to be the King City Museum, is what it used to be called back in the day. And it's so funny because when I first emailed these guys years and years and years ago, they were going through a major renovation at the time and we couldn't get in. And then fast forward to last year, and while they're still doing renovations, we were able to get in this time.
yes.
So let's do a little history. So the King Heritage and Cultural Center sits on the highland of the Oak Ridges Moraine, and it is a collection of archives, and it has a long-term museum exhibition and 4 historic buildings. So it is situated on the site of the original SS, which means school section, number 23 Kinghorn Schoolhouse, which was built in 1861. So when the schoolhouse became vacant in 1978, King Township Historical Society saw an opportunity to create a museum, and the building was purchased by the township for that use. What was that noise?
The bang?
No, that was my dog. I knew that,
Oh.
but the whole
You're always hearing things. I didn't hear that at all. I heard
Yeah,
I heard the bang, but I thought that was just Jay
nope,
or someone
that was
else.
the dog. Nope, that was the dog. She's anyways. All right, whatever. So the historic buildings on the site. So you got SS number 23 Kinghorn School, which is the main building. You've got King Christian Church, Lasky Hall, and King Railway Station. All original buildings, obviously not on original foundations, except for the schoolhouse. The other 3 were brought on in. All right. So let's talk about the schoolhouse, because that's the first building you'll walk into.
Figure it out.
Okay, thank you. So children are being educated as early as 1847 on the site. Lessons were held in a log cabin that was known as Squatters School.
Okay.
Jay's like, what the fuck? So in 1860, James Burns gave the Squatters School a real home by selling a portion of his farm to the trustees of SS number 23, allowing for the construction of a proper one-room schoolhouse. So for its first 100 years, the school steeple bell rang for children ages 4 to 18.
Wow.
Yeah. Expansions to the building in the 1960s were not enough to compete with new schools and busing services. So the last classes were taught at this school in 1978. So really not that long ago, if you really, really think of it.
Yeah.
So notable teaching staff there was a man by the name of Walter Rolling. He taught 4 generations of students at Kinghorn from 1895 to 1936. He is fondly remembered as a teacher and friend to little children, and he was just a no-nonsense type of person. Nowadays, those people are labeled different.
Exactly. Well, that's not a good thing.
And then you have a Miss Bessie McBride who taught at the school after Walter Rolling retired, a Miss Alice Ferguson who taught before Walter joined. So yeah, let me see here. I gotta find a little list of. There we go. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Walter, because he was somebody we encountered a little bit while we were there.
Mm-hmm.
So Walter was the son of Benjamin Rolling, which was one of the first African Canadians to serve as a postmaster in Canada. Yeah.
Very cool.
His post outlet was located in his general store in Lasky. This is how weird how everything just combines. So Walter was born in 1873. He spent his entire life in King. He was an outstanding student himself. He graduated high school in Aurora and studied teaching at Newmarket Model School. I know they have like the weirdest names for things. In January of 1895, he was named principal of Kinghorn School, and a position he held until 1936. He was the first and most beloved Black educator in King Township.
Aw.
This is a lot for that time.
Yeah.
He was born on May 31st, 1873.
There's a lot of Mays.
Yeah.
There's some May stuff in my notes.
Yeah, I noticed that too with a lot of stuff that we do. There's a lot of May. As an adult, he continued living in the family home to help out, especially after his father died suddenly in 1897. So he lived at home. In 1902, Walter and his mother sold the family farm in Lascaux, and Walter moved in with his cousin, Ellen Smith. He lived with her until 1907 when he and his first wife, Eva, rented 4 acres of land near the Kinghorn School on Concession 5, Lot 4. So that would have been just around the corner. Around 1910, they moved to King City. Walter and Eva would live there until Eva died in 1916. And I believe I have that down here. Oh no, I don't have. Yeah, April 10th, 1916 is when she died. I do not have a listed cause of death. In 1916-1917, Walter then bought property in King City. He would live there with his second wife, Laura, until his death. So his first wife, Eva, was actually of African American descent. So she was also a Black woman at the time. It says that she did suffer from heart troubles and she did pass away at her parents' home after a lingering illness. It doesn't really say what it was.
Mm-hmm.
On July 12th, 1920, he would marry Laura Emily Clark. Laura was born in Uxbridge and she was of Scottish descent. So she was white.
That's controversial.
This is interracial, marriage
Yeah.
at a time when it was a no-no for a lot of people. After their marriage, Laura taught music on Friday afternoons at Walter's school. In the 1930s, Laura became a society contributor to a number of newspapers, so she wrote about people. She was the Lady Whistledown of Kingston. No. She also worked radio stations and was a representative for the British United Press for 10 years. So maybe she was Lady Whistledown.
Maybe.
And here's an interesting tidbit. In 1944, when the King City Bank was robbed, Laura was taken hostage.
Whoa.
Yeah. She died on April 11th, 1978. He had no children from either marriage. Walter died of a heart attack on June 10th, 1943, and the funeral took place at his home, and he was buried at the King City Cemetery with his parents. It also should be noted that Walter sold tombstones for a company in Orangeville to help compensate his salary.
Okay.
So that's kind of like the history of there's not much really history of a school. It was a school, a lot of children went through it, they learned, but he was a very prominent character. They have a Walter Rolling Day there to commemorate him.
If it went until the 1970s, there's probably people in the community that were like, I used to go to that school.
Literally. It's
Yeah.
like when we go to Ameliasburg and Janice's husband's like, I went to this school. Because he went to the school.
Really?
There.
See,
yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. There's some things about the other teachers, but they're just other teachers. They're just single women because that's who teachers were back in the day. Most of them were members of temperance movement. They were very, busy with church stuff. So yeah, that is that for the schoolhouse. And yeah.
Love it. Well, aside from it being a schoolhouse, they have a really cute little gift shop in there
We
where you
do.
can get yourself a handy dandy. What is this called? Water bottle. And let me see. Is there pictures of the school? There's a little kid reading. I thought there was a picture of the school. There's not. So,
I don't know.
anyways,
Mine's over
blah blah
there.
blah blah. But this is like my favorite water bottle. I'm not even kidding. I take it with me all over the place.
Yeah.
It was great. Anyways,
All right.
so I'm going to talk about the King Railway Station, which is this building here. If you're watching. If not, you don't know what I just pointed at.
That
So
one.
go over to YouTube
There I go.
and
Oh, it
watch.
disappeared. There it is.
Meanwhile, I'm pointing away, and I think it was on you the whole time but it's in your background too. Anyways, it's this one behind me and the same one behind Rachel. Anyways, so located 23 miles north of Toronto on the Canadian National Northern Railway. It operated from 1853 to 1967. So again, I like to say fairly new, but really the 60s was quite some time ago. It feels like it was just 30 years ago, but it's not. Anyways.
It feels like it was yesterday.
It was the first stop on the way to Lake Simcoe. It is now considered the oldest surviving railway station in Canada, which is amazing. It moved to its
What year
current
was it built?
location,
What year?
1853. No, that's when it first operated. I haven't read that far ahead yet.
Okay. I find that. Oh,
So
okay, no.
obviously it was built before then. Let me see if I can get it. So it was moved to the current location that it is now in 1989 and was restored by volunteers and by fundraising. The first train arrived in King on May 16th, 1853. In the decades after construction, the station changed hands multiple times. There were slight modifications to the station that were done in and around the 1900s, early 1900s. The renovation included a new bay window for improved visibility from the station agent's office inside, and possibly other changes to the interior. Service to the King Station increased to 8 trains per day by 1920. So that's huge. The station closed to passengers in 1964, after which it sat abandoned for years. It was moved to the Courtright Center for Conservation in 1968, but it was neglected and began to rapidly deteriorate in the years that followed. The King City GO station was built in the same location as its predecessor in 1982. So the architect or the builder was Frederick W. Cumberland, was also the chief engineer of the railway. So he was born in London, England in 1821 and grew up in Rathmines, Dublin. Studied at King's College School and apprenticed as a civil engineer. In 1843, he was employed by the engineering department of the British Admiralty, working on the construction of dry docks and fortifications. In 1845, he married Wilmot Mary Bramley. That's a strange name for a woman, Wilmot. Anyways, her sister had married predominantly men in the city of Toronto, so they came to the city in 1847. He worked there as a surveyor and as an engineer for the United Counties of York and Peel. He helped design the Cathedral Church of St. James and School, the York County Courthouse, and the post office. He designed University College, the Provincial Magnetic Observatory, and the director's residence, as well as major additions and reconstruction of the center block of the Osgood Hall. Osgood Hall. I was going to say Osgood, but that's not the right one. The Osgood Hall Law Courts at the University of Toronto. He designed residences for predominant people in Toronto, the Queen Street Wesleyan Chapel. He built several public buildings in Hamilton. During the 1850s, he became involved in railway management at the Ontario, Simcoe, and Huron Railway Union Company. From 1868, he served as director of the Roma Timber Transport Company. He used railway money to gain support of members of parliament and to help elect candidates favorable to their cause. He was also director of a number of banks and a member of Toronto Board of Education. In other words, he did a lot of shit. So he was very popular. He died in August 5th, 1881 of heart disease. So let's see how many children. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 children. What else do we have? That's it. So when we went the first time, they had just finished renovating the railway station and they had just painted it. And so when we walked in, it was like,
And by painted, we mean the
everywhere we
floors.
went. Yeah, everywhere was painted.
It was sticky.
And it was exceedingly quiet. Spirit wise, there wasn't a ton going on. We ended up playing the railway. Was that the first time?
Yeah.
Nothing much was going on. There wasn't a lot happening. The second time we went, they had completely
Well, they re-added
refurbished it.
Yeah, the refurnishings, yeah.
And it was amazing. It looks beautiful. It looks like you were in an old railway station. They did a phenomenal job and it was banging. There was a lot of activity when we went in there. Lots of stuff going on. It was a good building. I enjoyed it anyways.
Well, I should say, like, the school was okay. Like, the archive room was where we got most of our hits because people's stuff were in there.
Mm-hmm.
We feel like we did come in contact with Mr. Rowling, and he was just milling about. Like, he was just doing his normal routine. Like, I wouldn't say it was scary or anything like that, right? They're just checking up on their stuff in that building, at least.
And as we were packing up, was it Allison and I or Kathy and I? I forget who it was. Someone came thundering around the corner and up the stairs that lead you into the thing. And we both froze and was like, what was that? Hello? And we still have no idea to this day what that was. It was very loud. Further down the hallway, so past the really cool gift store, are washrooms. Don't know what was going on in that hallway, but we got quite a bit of stuff going on. And then it led into like another display room area craft thing.
Why do dead people love bathrooms?
Is it because of all of the energy that's going on in there? I don't know. People are conjuring up something.
Oh my Lord. No. If that's the case, then the en route bathrooms
oh Jesus. They're demonic for sure. For sure.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I remember researching for that train station, and could I find like anybody that had worked there, like even in census records or stuff like that would list them as like, you know, they weren't conductors, but like, what's the term, like rail worker or something like that? And
like ticket workers.
Yeah.
Well, they would have had workers that helped, like took people's luggage, like all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Couldn't find anything. Anyways. Well, the next building is the Alaska Hall. And it's right beside the schoolhouse and the church.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually really cool. So Senator David Reeser Markham, for those of you who or like, why does the name Reeser sound familiar? Reeser Road, you know. He owned part of Lot 4 on Concession 6 on the east side, and he donated 1/5 of an acre, upon which to build a temperance hall. Now, for those who don't know, temperance halls were pretty much a place where you would go and hang out and do social, things, community things, and they were zero alcohol. So you can just, it's like prohibition hall, if you want to call it. They were very much against any type of alcohol and drinking because that stuff would bring debt and gambling and bad things and would ruin families, and they didn't want that. So that's what a temperance hall it still does, so don't worry. The Sons of Temperance formed number 220 division and erected a hall, and it opened about New Year's in 1859. So the hall was not fully completed when the division became dormant, so it didn't last for very long. It was reorganized about 1888. So they reintroduced it, and it flourished under the energetic work of its members. About the time local options came into force, the division was again disbanded, and the hall was then turned over to the Lasky branch of the Women's Institute. So back in the days, you had like the Mechanic Institute, which was where men went and they learned, and they had a library and they did all their readings, and they had men club, whatever. The women's branch, the Women's Institute, was where women would go to learn to discuss how to be better wives and how to make, different meals. And yeah, not a type of club that would go well today.
Right? I was just going to say.
How they were learning how to be trad wives, traditional wives. All right. Anyways, so the first mention of the Temperance Hall in the Institute Minute books was in October of 1914. So a committee was appointed in 1914 consisting of a Miss John Watson, a Miss William Boyce, and Mary Teasdale. I don't know why they called her Mary and not by her husband or whatever his name, but maybe she wasn't married at the time.
I was just going to say she probably wasn't married.
Yeah. Concerts were held during the year to raise money for repairs. In 1925, 1926, the hall was jacked up and sills put in, and a piano was also bought.
Ooh.
In 1929, in July, a chimney was built and the hall was also painted. So, they're just kind of going down here. In 1941, school was held in the hall for 3 months. So I guess they needed a school. In 1945, the Institute tried to purchase the hall, so the Women's Institute, but a clause was found in the deed that would not permit it from being transferred. A great deal of time elapsed during the investigation of this, and the Institute was advised to not pay taxes, and the property would be put up for tax sale. In December of 1953, there were no bids against the Institute. So in 1954, plans were made to repair and paint the hall, and in 1958, it celebrated its 50th anniversary. So they just kind of let the ball roll from there. There are so many women attached to this place. It's just ridiculous. I have lists upon lists of random women. I don't even know. It's just women. They just came in and just had a great time and learned how to bake and make meals and discuss how to be better wives. Definitely. So this is the building that we did our Estes in and all that, and it was definitely interesting. I know you missed some because you had to take a phone call, but you definitely missed some interesting stuff because we were talking about alcohol, and every time we would bring it up, we would get a reaction. So we knew we were definitely talking about somebody from the temperance time. We did do a live in there, I believe. I think it's on the video. So I have that. We'll post that so everyone can see. We just got a lot of it was a really fun time in there. It was really happy, laughing. It was jovial, if you want to call it.
This is the building that has a huge storage area underneath where they have a ton of archive stuff. And I think that held a lot of things too, because when we were down there,
Yep.
it was busy energetically. And
And
so
I
I
think
can
it might
see
have
it
also been,
seeping up.
yeah, but it also might have been busy because there was stuff from next door in there and it probably didn't want it in there.
Well,
Just saying,
that's
you
true.
know. Just saying. But there really isn't much more history to Lasky Hall other than that is it. And,
Mhm.
you know, I would say a lot of residual energy because there was a lot of activity in there and that energy kind of sticks behind. So a lot of it was good energy, right? Like it was fun,
Yeah.
it wasn't scary. When we did do our public event there, we did have some other random names come through, which some people might have thought was connected to an incident that happened across the road.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I found it quite interesting.
It was good. And it's one of those places that usually when you have a building that has a stage, it freaks people out because your brain thinks stage, person on stage, people are watching me. Like you just get that creepy feeling. I don't think I had that feeling at all. Like you kind of felt like the hall was full, like there were people there. But again, it wasn't a weird, uncomfortable feeling. It was it was a nice, like cool kind of
Mhm.
feeling.
And they have weddings there all the time too, right? So who's to say we're not picking up on that energy as well?
I didn't know that they had that. That's cool. I like
Yeah.
that.
I believe they have, yeah, a lot of places like that too.
Well, let's go from happy, fun, lovely times to the building next door.
That's
That's called, well, it's had a few names, but we'll start with its original name, which was called the King Christian Church. Now, I'm going to talk about the church and then we'll talk about the church. So, built on Lot 31, Concession 5, which is now Jane Street in King Township, the land had been purchased in 1850 from Thomas Ramsden. The first trustees were three local men with Quaker backgrounds: John Tatton, Martin Bogart, and William Hilborn. Over the next 80 years, the church thrived. Sorry. By 1931, the congregation of the church had reduced, and those remaining were no longer able to maintain the building. On December 17th, 1931, it was sold to Emmanuel Baptist Church. The Baptist Church saw the addition of the platform and altar at the front, the pews, and the organ. By 1978, the Baptist Church congregation had reduced, and the building was given to the township, to the township of King under the care of King Township Hysterical Society by the request of the last congregant, Edna Little, who was born 1914 and died in 1978. So basically, the very last person from the congregation donated the church to the Historical Society. So there's a lot of information, but I'm not going to read it all. The trustees in office in 1931 were Ephraim Clarkson, Isaac Webster, and Frederick A. Bogart. Elwood Baradell purchased the Baptist church. The new church was called King Emmanuel Baptist Church under Pastorate Reverend B. Hardy. The first trustees under the new agreement were Ephraim, what a name, Ephraim Clarkson, Carl Chambers Black, and Harry Dales Webster. Now, there were a bunch of ministers, also called elders. I'm not going to read all their names, though I feel like one of them came through, but we'll come back to them. The 2-acre property was derived from William Mason and Thomas Ramsden. In the early days, a burial ground to the west of the church was maintained. The first interment in the burial ground was that of Rachel Tatton. who was the wife of John Tatton in 1851. She died during the construction of the church, and her coffin was made by the same carpenters that built the church. Her son, Elder Jesse Tatton, was one of the ministers, and John T. Curtis did the grave digging. So I'm not going to read all of the people, and there are so many that are related. There's like 16 pages. I'm just looking to see if there's any more. This is just all people related and lived and worked at the church. No, these are just all the people. Oh, here we go. Okay, so May 1982, moved to the King Township Museum site, loaded onto a flatbed truck amid protest placards and angry shouts. So the people of Kettleby, which is the community, or well, the community where the church came from, they were horrified when they learned that the church had been donated and was moving, which is a bit strange because they loved it so much they didn't want it to go, but not enough to keep it from falling apart. So they were very, very angry when it left. So it was built by a group with ties to the Sharon Temple Children of Peace in 1851.
And that's a place you should also visit because it's weird and interesting all at once.
I don't even know what that's all about.
I will
Sharon
show you
Temple Children of Peace.
I will show you pictures of the Sharon Temple. We got to investigate it years ago. We just not allowed to talk about it. It's got a whole Jacob's Ladder in it. Children of Peace is like, yeah, I'll show you.
Ew, I can't stand Jacob Ladder. The sound that they make does something to my vibrational whatever. It makes me
But this is like
mental.
a real one. This isn't an energy one. This is
Oh.
a literal real, like how it.
Because I was like, why would they have a fucking Jacob's like
No, this
thing
one
when
is
they
like
didn't even
this
have
one is what they're
electricity?
modeled after, right? Like the
Okay.
real, like, yeah,
Which is even
it's a
scarier.
religious thing. The children thing is a it's a Quaker religion.
Okay.
Like
Well,
yeah.
So the King Christian Church, which was the very original one, served the community of Kettleby over 100 years. First as the King Christian Church until 1931, and then as the King Emmanuel Baptist Church. By 1978, the congregation had diminished, as we said, and the building was considered for demolition. Pews and organs are additions from the Baptist area, and I think that's all the information that we have. So let's talk about when we got there. Kaz loves a church. One of my most favorite things to investigate is a church, or just to go into a churches. I am not Christian in any way, shape, or form, but I really like churches. And I was really excited to go on this one. And this one, I don't know if you can see it. This is not exactly what it looks like because I've had ChatGPT change it. But yes, pretty much the one. There you go. So it's a pretty plain looking building.
We haven't really seen it since we have, but it was dark.
Well, just from the outside, even it's not necessarily much more than it's exactly what it should have been for the era.
Mm-hmm.
So they had basically just finished doing renovations, and we were allowed to kind of just look in. Well, we could kind of just go in, but not much further. And I went, the fuck I'm going in there. I cannot describe to you the energy. Like I literally walked in and did a complete 180 and walked right back out. Everyone's like, where's Kaz? And I was standing in the doorway and I was like, I'm not going in there. And this, unbeknownst to me, there had been issues from the get-go when they were doing the renovations. They had men walk off the job. They had construction workers refuse to go in there because they were like, something's not right here. They literally had the windows and the front door, which is the only way in and out, boarded up. I mean, like screwed. They had to screw the door back in because it was still under renovation. They're like, the workers go in the morning and unscrew the door and shit is just thrown everywhere. And there's no way because there's nothing that could get in there or do anything. And then there were rumors, few of the workers, construction workers, let me just say, were like, there's a portal here. Something isn't right. And something's going on.
And
blah,
that
blah, blah.
wasn't, and that stems from a few years ago, the rescue mediums. So a Canadian,
I forgot about them.
yeah, the
that they had done
Canadian
it.
show, The Rescue
Yes.
Mediums. For those of you who don't know, look it up. You know what? It actually wasn't that bad, for being a production from Canada.
Yeah.
And Michael Lamport was a great guy. We talked a lot. I met him a few times. He looked like Robin Williams. He's unfortunately passed away, which is really sad. But that was his show, and they did go there, and they were the ones that walked into that church as well and said, "Something's not right. There's a portal here."
Right. So I know none of this, of course. I know as soon as I walked in, there were two male energies and a female energy, and they were horrible. Horrible. I don't know who these people are. They were connected very much to the church. Important people. Horrible. So I did end up going in the end because Alice and I did a dual Estes thing. I think that was Chantel's first ever investigation. And from what I gather, because when you're doing an Estes, you don't know what you're saying, whatever. We both said some like really mean things. We were like, Chantel, blah, 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 whatever.
I didn't know at that time either that Chantel is quite religious person. I
remember coming out of the Estes being like, how'd it go, guys? And she's clutching her crucifix and she's like, guys said some mean things. It's just like, welcome to the team.
And now she understands it wasn't us.
Exactly. But it was just funny. So that was the first time. When we went back to do an event, I was very excited because I'm like, I'm ready now. Game on. I just wasn't prepared the first time. And we couldn't go in because they had got everything ready to kind of go back in because they had done a big renovation and the city had not approved them to be able to have people go in. So that was shitty. And we were like, bah. But the semi-good thing about that was there were all these pews sitting outside. And I was like, oh, it must suck that you've got all the stuff waiting to go back in the building and it can't go in. And one of the staff members is like, oh, we're not putting the original pews back in there. We've got new stuff to go in. And I was like, what are you doing with this stuff? And she's like, we're getting rid of it. You want it? And thus became the night Kathy, Rachel, and I tried our hardest to cram some pews from the 1800s into the back of Rachel's truck. It did not work. So I had to go back the next day with my hubby's thing. But that was good because then I got two instead of one because I could fit more stuff in his truck.
You literally went back the next day. Literally the next day.
Like in the morning. I'm like, I just gotta use your truck. Cause like for what I'm like, I get pews from an old river, and he's just like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I love you, bye. And then I drove. And then I messaged him and was like, I'm on my way back with them. And he's like, them? And I'm like, ha 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 ha. And now they sit in my barn. I struggled with whether or not I was going to restain them because they're worn. Because they're original pews. So they're worn from people's butts in the seats. And I really liked that. But I think I'm just going to lightly restain them just to give them but I love them. So anyone that has old church memorabilia that they're trying to get rid
Anything
of,
old. It doesn't even have to
call
be from a
me.
church.
Exactly. It's so true. Now every time we go to a place, I'm like, so you guys got
What are
anything
you
you want to get
getting
rid of?
rid of?
And they're like, what? Remember,
We
this was the place when we were in the archive room. I was like, did you guys ever get any coffins? And they're like, not overly, once in a while. I'm like, what do you do with them? Then they were like, they go other place. I'm like, so you don't have anything you're getting rid of? And the girl's like, why are you saying these things? I'm like, where can I get a coffin from?
slightly used coffin nonetheless.
I'm just like, who is this person? What is she doing? And now I have one, although it's not real. Boo. But anyways, it
It
still looks
looks
really good.
real.
I
Just like
know.
mine does.
Exactly. I love that I can text my dad and be like, can you make me a coffin? And his response was, when do you need it by? It wasn't even like, what? It was just like,
See, ours,
and
when we lived in Oshawa, in our like first like house out of the apartment, the garage was filled with all these like random pieces of wood, and Jay built it. And those like the like at the top where I showed you where the little skull was putting out, that's the wood was actually shaped like that, and Jay put it together that way. He didn't cut it out. He didn't do anything. It was just that's just how it looked, and it looks
see,
real.
I love that. I love that.
It's my
I love
favorite
that.
Halloween prop. I'm surprised it's still going because it's gone through like 2 or 3 moves.
Well, it's a testament to his craftsmanship.
It'll be in a museum one day. They'll be like, we don't know what this was used for.
Exactly. Oh, I'm fully thinking that. I'm like, one of these days,
We'll just
when I'm dead and gone, they'll be like, we found this coffin. It must have been a child's coffin. Like the story that someone would make up about it. Meanwhile, my
see.
dad
I would
just
bring
found
it to
scraps
like
and made it.
when we do like Lang's. They're All Hallows Eve, but I'd be so terrified to transport it. I don't want it to go anywhere or disappear.
That's true.
Though I trust everybody up there, right? I just I
Yeah.
want it to be broken, even though it already looks broken. But anyways.
That's
But
the
yeah,
tough thing.
I will post the link for the rescue mediums video as well, so people can watch that too, because it shows a whole different side. Right?
Yeah. I think I don't remember if I ever watched it or not.
I didn't. I haven't. I watched it probably when it first came out. I haven't watched it since, but you know,
I should watch that. It was so we were just chatting before we started the podcast that we would really love to go back because now the church obviously is redone, and I can only imagine just from how they redid the railway station, how the church is going to be amazing.
It's so funny because I know when we talked about doing this episode, we talked about maybe we could go there and record it, but unfortunately we got other investigations that came our way that kind of blocked that, which I think is probably something that the dead people set up because they tend to do that.
Definitely. All the time.
But maybe we should just do a live one there one day. Go in and do a live.
I'm 100% down for that.
I could just send them a message. That's the great thing about being an investigator and, you know, building these relationships with these locations is that you can just send them an email and reach out anytime to inquire about coming back. And 99% of the time, well, 99.9, if you've been accommodating with them and you've listened to them and you're working with them, they'll let you come back. And that's the whole reason to investigate.
And because I think the staff have heard about the time we went before, and so then they're really intrigued. Oh, they'll be like, oh, I'm so glad because, you know, such and such happened and we want you to come back and look into it. So
and who knows what has happened in that church since it has now reopened to the public. Right? Because when things are renovated, when things are shut down, when the public is not coming in, that energy is not being received, what is going on, right? Like how is it reacting to that? Or is it trying to take anything from anybody it can get, right? Like energy wise.
Exactly.
And weren't they saying that the workers that were doing the renovations, I think she said they were Mexican or something like that. Like they weren't, like, English wasn't their first language or something, and that they were like really terrified of being in there. So
I
like,
don't remember because I wasn't there when she was telling the story, but I know you guys. I don't know if it was you or Paula who was saying about the workers were just like, I'm not fucking going back in there. Are you kidding me? If they were Mexican, 100%, because they're very superstitious and take faith very seriously. So if they think something's not right,
mm-hmm,
I have to say, I don't I don't think there's anything. First of all, I don't believe in demons and all that bullshit. So I don't think it's anything along those lines. I think a big part of it, these three people, I think, were very predominant in the beginning of the church. So likely they've been stirred up because it was being renovated and they're, making sure their beloved church is being taken care of. I don't know that they were overly nice people. I don't know who they were in regards to the original church. But when we went later on in there, I didn't feel them as much. And I wouldn't have taken the pews if I thought this was a horrendously horrible place.
mm-hmm.
Likely, now that the church has been put back together, it's probably a whole different vibe.
Yeah,
But I don't
and
want people to feel like, oh, it's haunted, it's scary,
yeah,
you shouldn't go in there. No, 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 no. Even
and
more reason to go
they
there.
could have been upset that the church was being renovated and that things were being taken out and not being put back in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Could it be that you were just the person who felt their energy because you can pick up on it, and they're upset because the church is now located at the cultural center, right? Like, is it because, like, I don't know much of a difference between a Christian church and a Baptist church. Like, could there be some, like, kind
Mm-hmm.
of like headbutting on like those type of teachings, right? Like, because I know uber religious individuals will be upset with another religion because they don't feel like that's the correct, right? Like, just, it's everywhere. But
Mm-hmm.
could that have been something, right? And then for some paranormal investigators to come in, were they being like, oh my gosh, witchcraft, right? Like a big no-no.
Well,
So are they upset with that? Like,
it's not the first time I've not been welcomed because of my beliefs and who I
listen,
am.
those are some good times. Apparently I was going to get on the weekend, so I don't
I
know if
know.
I did. I might have.
Well, it was because of your inappropriateness,
Sure.
whatever that meant.
I walked in there with a bunch of notes. I was so inappropriate.
Yes, exactly. I don't know what that meant at all. But no, it I highly recommend going
Mm-hmm.
if because especially now it's being renovated. We want to go back to check it
Mm-hmm.
out, but it's a great place to go. And
100%.
yeah. And so just because how many times have we been to a place and it's totally different the time we go back because you're catching them at a time. Again, the church was being renovated. Is that why that stirred up? Did it stir up because I walked in there sort of at the opposite end of the scale to Christianity? Maybe. I
Yeah.
don't know. There's any possibilities.
Yeah.
But I don't want people thinking it's a bad place and their
No.
attachments. It's not
It's
at
not.
all.
I
I
don't know
know.
if I would say negative. I would say, trying to find the best word. It's not negative. It's very wary. Like, it's very,
They're protective. It
I was gonna
was
say
like,
it's a very protective energy because
yeah.
it's a sacred space, and they want it to remain that way. So they're very cautious
Mhm.
and probably very judgmental,
Yeah,
right? And it just comes with the
absolutely.
territory. So we're good with
Absolutely.
it.
I'm sure if we had walked into the hole with beer cans in our hands, it probably
Hey.
wouldn't have been received very well either. So
Come in with 2 bottles.
I would just have that hat on with the like beer cans and the straws and be like, what's up, guys?
It's a
Yeah,
booze fest. Yeah.
exactly. So it is what it is. It was just I don't think I've reacted to a place like that before where I've like stood outside and been like, I'm not coming in. Like
No, I don't think
it
I've ever seen
really
it. Usually you're like, basement in the dark?
oh
Okay.
I love that. Yeah, I don't know. It just caught me off guard, I think, is what
Yeah.
happened. And then once we got going again, it was all right.
Mhm.
But it yeah, because churches are one of my faves. I love them. So I'm glad that I did get to go back in there. And I hope one day to go back and see how it looks. And I'm really glad that I have a piece of its history
Mhm.
sitting outside in my barn where the bums of people used to sit. Pray to a God I don't believe. What the fuck? Oh my god. Oh, you can't see my the ceiling fan just turned itself on when I said that about.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, duly noted. That's ridiculous.
And
And where's the fucking remote? The remote is sitting like behind me on the table.
this is our life.
Okay.
No, at least you didn't just, a crack of thunder from somewhere.
Imagine. Oh my gosh. How the F did that even turn it off? Yes, it's turned off. That was hilarious. And I
That's
kind of even
amazing.
I don't even know how to get my background
Oh my
off.
gosh.
Let me
It's
see if
okay.
I can take
There you
okay.
go.
Well, you can't obviously it's slowed down now because I turned it off. I couldn't figure out how to get rid of my background. But yeah,
It's amazing.
that's very funny
I can't wait
that
to see
while
that.
I was like we're like, oh, the witch has a thing from
The best is
Christianity.
when you were like,
And because all of a sudden it was like, it didn't even like start slowly. It just suddenly was like,
full
I'm
blast.
on. What is that?
What is what?
What is that? Oh, it's me.
I was gonna say what?
Now
I think
I'm just
someone
scared because it looks like the way it was, it just looked like a shadow right there. And I was like, holy shit. Okay, now I'm just scared myself.
All right,
Hilarious.
well, that is this episode of Cultural Center. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
The ghosts didn't follow Kaz home. She brought them home willingly, so don't worry, everybody. But if
I
you've
did
been,
not invite you into my house.
you talked about them. Um,
That's too funny.
and they're bums.
Right. The bums of Christians sat in the chair.
Oh my god. Anyways,
Wow.
if you've been there, if you've been to King Heritage and Cultural Center and you've had an experience, or you've just been there and you would just like to share your experience of just being there, we'd love to hear it. You can send us an email, paranormalpodcast@gmail.com. So PAREHNORMAL podcast@gmail.com. Or you can post on our Facebook and our Instagram and our TikTok or YouTube, whatever works for you. We're going to post a bunch of pictures from this episode and links to videos from us and the rescue medium. So yeah, check them out. And yeah, so next week, and it's so funny because we were talking about this earlier, next week's topic's all about cursed items and haunted stuff, like haunted objects.
Yes.
So we'll be talking about those.
The pews in my barn, apparently.
See, we've already
or
just
the ceiling fan in my
ceiling fan. Haunted or not.
Oh my god.
That was the best. Can't wait. So maybe we'll talk a little bit more about Harold and the picture on my wall, and maybe some of like the more famous like haunted objects, maybe.
Absolutely.
But maybe we'll keep dolls, like dolls for another episode, because we could just do a whole episode on haunted dolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I can do objects.
Speaking of which, have you seen the latest Project Fear?
No, I don't watch it. Why?
No. They investigate Robert the doll.
Oh, do they?
And
Was it good?
And Dakota didn't ask permission for his pictures.
Oh dear.
And video. So yeah, fun times. It's very interesting.
Now I'm like, did I ask permission? I think I probably did.
I'm
just
literally
to be in the spirit of it.
You sent me his picture, and the first thing I said to you was, "I hope you asked for fucking permission."
I'm sure I did.
Well,
I don't
nothing
remember,
bad's
to be
happened
honest
to you,
with
so
you.
yeah, you probably did. Anyways.
No, that was good. And then remember when what did I give to Ryan? It was his birthday, so I gave him like a little pin, I think, that said Robert did it or something. And he's like, "This is so cool." He had no idea. And then when I explained it to him, he like flung it across the table. He's like, "I don't fucking think so." I was like, "It's not the real." Anyways, yeah, he probably burned that.
But yeah, that's this week's episode. That's next week's episode. And we don't have anything to do this week other than it is Paula's birthday. So some of us are going to the Oddities and Curiosity show. So I don't know. I might come home with some random dead things.
Ooh, yeah.
Maybe
you
a
take lots of pictures there.
For Harold.
I think you should have taken that one from the place you just investigated, because she looked.
Literally, I looked down and I was like, "A girlfriend for Harold." That's the first thing I thought of. She was already half in the bag and everything.
Oh, she was like, I'm like, what happened to that?
She was sleeping.
Sure she was.
I should post that. I should post it. But yeah, anyways. All right. Well, have a great week, everyone, and we will see you next time.
Bye.